Aaron. You've had a couple of hours here to process. Just where are you at coming out of the series? How proud are you for just not only your own success here, but the success of your team throughout this season and through 7 games of crazy playoffs?
I'm extremely proud of this group. I feel like we got better through the course of the year. Obviously, we struggled at the beginning, and we had our struggles throughout the course of the year. But I think just as a team, we continued to grow and got better. I mean, it was a remarkable season for us, obviously, with where we have been in the past, especially like for myself individually, just being a part of this organization, just seeing where we came from. This is a big step in the right direction.
Darren, two for you. One, how quickly do you think you'll get your finger operated on?
No, I don't have to get surgery. I actually got an X-ray right after the game yesterday for like our closing medical, and they say like 2 or 3 weeks it should be fully healed. I should wear a splint, which I don't have right now, but like there should be no risk of getting hit right now. So I should be fine. 2 to 3 weeks, I should be good to go.
And the second one for you, to do this season in front of Rasay and Rain, just especially courtside, just personally, what has that meant to you, and how much have they kind of maybe helped you in your development on the court?
Oh, it's big. Just having, your family there every single game. I mean, Rasay helps me in my development both on and off the court. So a lot of what I do is a testament to her and just the discipline that she's helped instill in me. And then with the baby coming, I mean, I think I started playing my best basketball as soon as he was born. I'm not sure how much that actually helped in the correlation, but just having him here I think it was fun, just being able to have a baby in the house with us.
De'Aaron, last year at this time, you were talking about how disappointed you were in your season and the need for accountability, and a lot's changed over the last year. I'm curious for you, like what's been the biggest change for you individually, maybe mentally, maybe off the floor? What changed? How do you change in the last year?
I think, and even with that, going back to the other question, like having Rasay here, and obviously once Mike was hired, and she worked with Mike and Luke, that was, I think, a big part of my development this year. And it's funny because Jordy was like, he doesn't think that I got, a lot better, but it was just the discipline and having someone who pushed me and being held accountable was a big reason and big part of my success this year as an individual.
De'Aaron, what's your big takeaway from these 89 games, be it what you can do, what this team can do, anything? Just what's your big takeaway from this past season?
The biggest takeaway, I think, is just the consistency defensively that we need to have. I think we were better defensively in the playoffs than we had been throughout the course of the season. But I think if we were better throughout the course of the season, we might have been even better defensively coming into the playoffs. So I think just taking that away, knowing that we can be a better defensive team, and I think that we showed it some nights and we didn't show it other nights. I think that's my biggest takeaway. Obviously, what we did offensively was great, but I feel like, and obviously, that's just from being around Mike, the defensive side of the ball really takes precedent.
De'Aaron, Mr. Green, Draymond Green has a lot to say in the last 18 hours or so, but one of the things that he did say, that he has respect for you, more respect for you, since he done played in that series with you. Just want to get your commentary on that and where your respect level is with him.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimate competitor. When you step out there playing against the Warriors, you're going to get Draymond's best. You're probably going to get hit by Draymond. You're going to get yelled at by Draymond. Like, it's going to be a lot. And, I mean, that's what he does. That's how he affects the games. You talk about players who you don't have to look at the stat sheet to know that they affected the game. He's one of those players. And, I mean, he helps them in a variety of ways. And, hell, I don't know if it was 2 games, but I know one game for sure. I think he had 21 on like 8 for 10. So like he affected the game in scoring that way, but most games he affects the game in other ways. And just a tremendous amount of respect for him, Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole. I met Jordan when he was I think I was a freshman in college. He was a junior in high school, and just seeing how far a lot of guys have come. like I said before, playing that team was a blessing and a curse. But just the amount of respect I have for all of those players I have a lot of respect for them, and I'm glad that they were able to teach us that lesson.
Dear, now that it's all over, can you kind of give us the real deal on the finger? How much that bugged you, and how much of a hindrance it was the rest of the series?
I mean, it hurt a bit, but like I said before, the big part for me was just having the pad of my finger covered and just not being able to feel the ball. But as far as pain, I was fine with the pain.
Okay. And what is your assessment as you guys go into this offseason of like what you guys have, where you're good at, what you feel like maybe you might need going forward now that you've taken these steps?
I mean, that's not my job. But for us, we as a team just need to show that we can be more consistent. Obviously, the shooting was one thing throughout the playoffs, but as a team, I mean, throughout the season, like we feel like we shot fine. Everybody has their nights where they're not going to shoot well, but just as a team, like I said, defensively, we need to show more consistency on that end. You don't want to be one of the bottom 5 teams in defense throughout a season and then just expect it to turn around in the playoffs. Even though we were better defensively during the playoffs, that's not kind of what was expected. So we just need to show defensively that we can be a much better team.
De'Aaron, the Warriors in 13 and 14 had playoff runs that they've talked about that sort of helped them get over the hump in 2015 and win that championship. And just, you guys being sort of a younger team and maybe in a similar stage to where those Warriors were in 13 and 14, what do you think you can take from the series against them that you could potentially apply towards taking that next step into contention?
Yeah, this could be, like I said, this is just a building block. You want to be one of those teams who, like the Warriors, lost to, I think the Clippers was the last Western Conference team that they lost to. And then after that, like that kind of just started the dynasty. And like I said, just being able to, feel what the playoffs is like, you don't want to go downhill. We were able to play a team that just won a championship, push them to 7 games, and kind of their experience. And to be quite frank, Steph showed us what it's like, what it takes to really get there. So you just want to take that and run with it. You want to apply everything that they were able to do to us physically, mentally, as far as not having, so many defensive lapses. And you want to build off of that.
Fox, with the beam, the playoff crowds, just the energy in the city, reuniting with Malik Monk, so many different things that could be classified as a special season. I'm just curious, outside of the basketball element, how special was this career for you from almost like a narrative standpoint for just the year that you experienced?
I think it was almost something out of a movie, just with my life coming together like that. I definitely think year 25 for me is probably the best year that I've had in my life. And I mean, I want to keep this going. I want to keep this feeling going. I told GA, one of our video guys, I'm like, I don't know if I told y'all this yesterday, but I was like, this is probably the first time that the season ended and I'm like upset, because of the way it ended, and we felt like, we could have kept playing. We could have, gotten to the second round and, kept our season going. This is the first time that I actually felt like the season ending was kind of hurt for me. And like I said, you want that sting to last a little bit so that you don't want to feel that again. And I feel like that'll help you build towards the future.
When you mentioned a minute ago that off-season signings, trades, decisions are not your job, but I think I ask you every year, do you want to have a voice in that room? And it seems like this current executive staff has kind of brought you in a little bit in recent times to kind of bounce things off you or at least get your feedback. How comfortable are you in those decisions, being able to have a voice there, and do you want to be heard in those circumstances?
I mean, I'm comfortable with it, if they ask me, but I feel like for the most part, we're on the same page. We usually know what we need. It's not rocket science how most teams are built, in the NBA, especially with teams that win at a high level. It's not rocket science how they're built. So whenever we do talk about it, we're usually pretty much on the same page.
2 things for you. What are some of your favorite specific moments from this season that you feel like you're going to remember for a long time?
I feel like the Orlando game winner definitely is one, and the Clipper game. Like, I mean, that's a game that's gonna be remembered for not only for Clipper fans and Kings fans, but just basketball fans in general. That's gonna be a game that's probably always remembered. So I would say that's probably the biggest one.
And then I don't know if it's too early, but do you already have an idea on what you as an individual want to work on throughout the course of this offseason?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, it's always gonna remain the same. You know, be a more consistent shooter from three, from the free throw line. Getting stronger, being a better finisher at the rim, especially like through the playoffs. I don't think I finished at the rim at the rate that I usually did. But shooting will always, I feel like for myself, will always be the top thing. Unless I start just shooting like Steph, then